Kath T. You've said that homosexuals never be allowed on the OT levels. But do you know if Scientologists have become convinced, or convinced their auditor, that they've been cured of homosexuality and then allowed to move up the bridge? Just to be clear, I don't believe in people being cured of homosexuality, nor that they need to be. Hey, Kath, of course, I'm sure you don't have anything about homosexuality or any of that just by asking that question, so no worries there. Yes, to answer your question directly, yes, I did see instances of people cured of their homosexuality due to Scientology auditing. The idea was to audit the gay away, and there were various Scientology processes and procedures that be used in order to address people's aberrations, as they call it in Scientology, on their second dynamic, meaning the area of their life dealing with sex, family, and sexual matters. So, sometimes it was addressed with evil intentions, stripping away evil intentions a person had in the area of sex. Sometimes it was addressed with Dianetic auditing. There's a kind of auditing called expanded Dianetics that deals with, it's a kind of a high-level Dianetic auditing that was developed in the early 1970s, which uses an e-meter and was directed to find major instances of psychosis and evil intentions and evil purposes on a case using Dianetics procedure. All right, so I've seen expanded Dianetics used because Hubbard was of the idea in the technical materials of Scientology that homosexuality is aberrant behavior and is driven by a sort of an evil idea, right? And at its core, there's this like evil idea to do away with the race or the species, right? Because you're not procreating. That's the main reason Scientologists have a problem with it, is because the idea for them is that by being homosexual, you are going against your gender, you're going against your biology, you're going against the whole purpose of being alive as a member of a species. Right? And so therefore there must be some serious, mental stuff going on, which means that there must be serious instances in the past of you having done some things that were pretty catastrophic in terms of destroying a race or a species or something like that, that causes you to feel the impulse or need to continue acting in such an aberrant behavior that's destructive towards the good of the species. Okay. Another way that's addressed, though, is also with valence auditing, right? In Scientology, the word valence is a term to describe a personality or a package personality that a person could put on or take off like a coat. It's like you're in a valence. That valence is not your personality, it's somebody else's personality, right? When you refer to your character or personality or who you are, you don't refer to your valence, you say that's who you are, that's you. But if you start acting like your mom or your dad or your boss or somebody else, then you're in their valence. You're taking on their personality traits, right? And Hubbard said that this would happen all the time. People do this constantly, right? And you do see it. I mean, it's not like it's, like this is just a fantasy idea. I mean, you see kids who look and act exactly like their parents, have eye problems, have this, have that. And I'm sure there's a certain amount of genetics to that, of course. But there's also the fact that you're being raised by these people, so you act like those people, right? And so you could say that a child could be in the valence of one or both of his parents, for example. Or, you might see some kid who gets bullied and then he starts acting like a bully. And so in Scientology parlance, you would say that victimized kid has gone into the valence of the bully and now bullies other people. And so therefore that would be aberrant behavior. You'd want to deal with that. You'd want to get the kid to get back into being just himself. So there are processes that Hubbard developed in order to find and sort of, separate a person from other personalities or other valences. And there's an assumption made in Scientology that if you're homosexual, you are in the valence of someone who represents the opposite gender. And that might be another way of tackling or dealing with homosexuality or bisexuality. So All of this, of course, is kind of nonsense because I mean, at least from my own personal perspective, I've come to realize after leaving Scientology that homosexuality is often not a choice. And people are just born with certain proclivities and ideas and attitudes about sex and sexual behavior, and that's just kind of where they're coming from. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, not my business or yours or anybody's to dictate to them how or why they feel that way, how they should feel, what they should be doing. It's nobody's business, right? But there are people who have, mostly a religious mindset who feel that it's a violation of God's law or natural law or whatever, and that's kind of where Hubbard was coming from as well. That it was a violation of being a good member, good procreating survival member of the species. Okay, so that's kind of the whole attitude about it in Scientology, and that's why they look down on it, and that's how they try to address it. So I hope that is helpful. And yes, I've seen some people respond to that in such a way that they said that they had been cured. And whether that really worked or not, well, I guess you could ask Catherine Bell.